This is the A to Z podcast. I'm Anthony Zanni here with Alex DePalo and Brendan Sixer. Let's get it going.
All right, Zan. All right, Six. Welcome back. It is the opening weekend of the NCAA tournament. The round or the 64 down to 32, down to 16. It wasn't as mad as we had hoped, but Sixer, you were spot on with your prediction. Virginia deserved nowhere in this tournament did they deserve to be. They were in the play-in game. They absolutely embarrassed themselves. And I was watching this game, and I'm not even a St. John's fan, and I kept thinking about the Big East, kept thinking about the St. John's, and about how Virginia just did not show up for that game, and they got blown out of the gym. Did you watch it?
I think that was all I was right about. Just to be fair, if we had ended the tournament or not actually had it start on Wednesday, I was spot on with all my predictions. But everything else, I was dead wrong. Dead wrong. No, I did watch the game, and it was embarrassing. And maybe a question for Zanni, too, because Alex and I were talking about this. Do you think if we were playing three of us who are all you two better than me, but all capable athletes, and we picked three of our high school friends against Virginia, would we have scored over under 4.5 points in a 40-minute game if they knew like their role was to stop us from scoring those 4.5 points? What do you think? Do you think we would?
4.5, of course. Absolutely.
I don't know
Absolutely.
if we get the ball past half court, but still, yeah, they were terrible.
We're getting past half court. They're going to foul us at some point during a shooting motion, and I have faith in you or DePalo knocking down some free throws.
Look at you. He doesn't put himself in.
I'm obviously not.
He doesn't put himself in that bracket. He ain't knocking down anything. But you know what? He's getting the ball on court. No big deal.
Do you have a Twitter for this podcast? Because I would love to put a poll out there for people to opine on.
Absolutely.
Maybe we can send pictures. We'll send our CVs of our athletic history. We have a Division II, Division III, and Division II athletes, respectively. So
none in basketball, by the way. None in basketball.
None of us play basketball, but we're scoring more than 4.5 points a game. Come on.
I agree. You got to set that over/under number at like 20.
Maybe if we have Shawnee Mack, because he did play D1 basketball.
Wait, so what's your number, Z? You're putting at 15?
Oh man.
Okay. Okay. You were beyond confident at 4.5.
4.5. I mean, dude, I'm gonna yak up a 3 and get lucky at some point. Like, come on.
I don't know if you will. I don't know if you will.
Like, come on. And drop a couple. Yeah, they're gonna foul us. We're gonna hit some free throws. Like, you gotta be a respectable number. I feel like 20 is a lot, but 5 we can do. 20, man, I think that's where the over-under is. I do think that's the number. So that gives us what, 5 points per quarter?
Yeah, I guess that. I mean, 20 is a lot. 20 is a lot.
I think 5 points per quarter is fair.
The lack of height is a real issue, and
we would get destroyed. It would not be.
The problem is we would have to make the shot. We're getting 0 rebounds. I'm talking 0 rebounds.
What would the criteria be now for like the people we could pick? Is it like direct friends of? So it has to be someone. Let's say it has to be someone that we've seen in the past month. So it's not like, not saying like Kevin Burton or something. Sorry, no names. Using people like who actually play Division I basketball that we happen to go to high school with. But like, maybe Sean or someone. I'm trying to think, Al, who would round out our. We each got to pick one person, so we get 6. Got to have 6 on the court.
I have to go with Rich. He's got to have something there. We just saw him last week.
Okay. I go definitely have to go Sean. I mean, he played that 1 year of Division I basketball.
And then that's it. That's our team right there.
Zanni needs a pick too. Dude, we can't go 5 out there. You out of your mind?
I'm taking Gerald. I'm bringing Gerald with me.
Oh, that's true. That's a very good point. I forgot about that.
Right, so
we got the height. He can grab
He just can't hit any free throws though, Gerald. No free throws.
1.5 is the over/under.
I'm with Zanni. I'm putting the number at.
We wouldn't get a shot off. We wouldn't get the ball past half court. I think
you're out of your mind. This is like you yelling about volleyball, and you claim that if we played against not Missy Elliott, who are those Olympian?
Misty May Trainer and
Misty
Carrie
May.
Walsh.
And Carrie Walsh, that if we played 2-on-2 volleyball against them, I'm not sure if we would score more than a point or two.
Can we
And
set the record straight before I get labeled as misogynist and
I
get
agree.
canceled
Yeah,
for my
set the
job?
yes. Go ahead.
That is
Go
not
ahead.
what I said. I
What
said
did
our
you-
volleyball team of 6 would score more than, I think I said in a game, in like a 3-set series of volleyball, so 21, 21, 15, that we would score more than 5 in the 3-set. And the only reason is because we would get points off stuff that has nothing to do with our control. They would serve one out of bounds or into the net. So let's set the record straight. I'm not saying gold medalists we'd be able to get up there and block them. I'm just saying because we could score points without us having to do anything.
I don't recall this.
Twitterverse, please.
I don't recall this 6-person game that you're talking about. It was me and you versus those two, and I was like, "You're out of your mind."
Still score 3. I mean, they'd have to serve into the net. That's the only way we'd score. Or out of bounds.
I beg to differ. I bet. And Misty May and Carrie Walsh, if you're out there, I'm ready to go pros versus Joe with you, and I have full confidence that you'll destroy us. Full confidence.
I'd be looking for a new job the day after that ever happened. People would say I'm a misogynist. Like, I would say the same thing about the men's gold medalist team too, because all we'd have to do is have them serve it into the net. Well, that's it.
But if you're them, why would you ever do a jump serve? Just get the ball over the net.
Then
Let
we'd
us
have a
make the
chance
mistake.
to get lucky and like put one in a corner at that point.
Okay. Oh,
And have them hit one back into
We're
the net,
not
or have
hitting
them try to go
corners.
for a spike.
We're
Misty
not-
May go for a spike and hit the net.
All right. Anyway, I think
Moving on.
going back, our predictions for the upsets in the NCAA tournament, I don't think one of them hit. We were all over Clemson, and now Clemson's in the Sweet 16. I took Gonzaga because they've broken my heart every single year, and they're in the Sweet 16. NC State, I told you, my boy DJ Burns Jr. I did. Obviously, I don't watch college basketball, but I watched that tournament, the ACC tournament, and that guy is a sneaky good athlete. He doesn't look the part. He doesn't run the part. He looks like he's wildly out of control, but the guy has a left hook like Hakeem Olajuwon in the lane, and he is their go-to guy down the stretch. I love him. I love him. No one's following up with that.
We called Grand Canyon beating St. Mary's, FYI.
You did, Zanny. That was yours. I was the only one.
That
I was all over McNeese State.
Everybody was all over McNeese State.
Yeah.
But that being
Drake.
said, I forget how much I love this tournament every year. That first Thursday, Friday into the weekend is some amazing basketball. Because it's literally all day from noon to 2 in the morning. But there wasn't as much madness in the March Madness this year that we've seen in years past. 8 double-digit. What?
And all chalk.
It is a lot of chalk. 8 double-digit C's secured upsets in round 1, but after the weekend, only one, NC State, who was 11 going in, the Cinderella Darlings, as I like to call them, were left standing. This is only the 5th time in NCAA history, I think I read, that all the 1 and 2 seeds have advanced to the Sweet 16. That's not what the tournament wants. That's not what the tournament thrives on, but it's still pretty cool.
I thought it was the 2nd time, but you might be right with the 5th time.
I mean, 2nd would be crazy, but maybe I read it wrong. Definitely, maybe I read it wrong. But the remaining 1 and 2 seeds, give your power rankings. Who do you think are the clear favorites? Who do you think are the most vulnerable to get knocked off here in the Sweet 16?
Houston probably the most vulnerable to get knocked off. I think. I mean, I still love Purdue and I still love UConn. So I think that those two, would make a really, really fun matchup for everybody. I think they play similar styles of basketball. I just think that UConn's better at that style of basketball, unless Zach Edey just goes off like a freaking monster, which could happen. What else do we got? We have Arizona Clemson. I still have Arizona winning that.
Yep.
UNC Alabama. I really am not I'm not a huge UNC basketball fan. Huge UNC baseball fan, not a huge UNC basketball fan. I could see Alabama winning that one, even after, the scare against Grand Canyon. Purdue beating Gonzaga. Duke Houston. I don't think Duke is anything great this year. So I have Houston winning that, and UConn beating San Diego. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure.
I think, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think that UNC is the most vulnerable, and only because I personally think it's Alabama can score with anybody, and they proved that last night where they could just go on a run and start scoring. They don't play a lick of defense, but it's weird against teams like that. They go on a run and they get up 10, 12, 14. Then UNC's chasing and they're out of their game. So I think UNC is the most vulnerable. Duke has been playing really well. Got to give them credit. A lot of people are fading Duke because they always do. Myself included, who faded the ACC. And just for the record, hand up accountability. Thank you, Bob Does Sports, for that. For the 4 ACC teams, Sweet 16. Yeah. So my most vulnerable number one right now is, and just strictly based on the matchup, is Duke. I mean, UConn should beat San Diego State. They beat them last year pretty handily. I think that's an easy one for them. Houston, I agree, could definitely lose to Duke. Purdue's playing Gonzaga. It's so weird because in the tournament, every time you expect a team to do really well, Gonzaga's one of those teams for years. Everyone, this is the time they're going to win. This is the time. This is when they're going to actually get there. They're going to finish it off. And then when you least expect teams, and the expectations set a little lower, I don't know if that maybe makes teams have a little chip on their shoulder or makes them play a little more controlled when they have nothing to lose. But Gonzaga's playing really well. So is that Gonzaga-Purdue matchup? Maybe that's another vulnerable team. Gonzaga's playing sneaky well, but they stink. Yeah, they're going to get killed.
I mean,
the biggest spread is, or the smallest spread, I should say, is the Houston Duke game. Houston's only -4. Actually, I'm sorry. UNC Alabama is -4 as well.
I'm gonna personally put it on Houston.
You hate Houston.
I hate
like what
Houston.
happened? What happened with you in Houston? Something happened to you down there?
I mean, Houston, we have a problem. Houston had a problem in what, the Big 12 championship. Like, you can't claim to be a number 1 overall seed and lose to Iowa State by 30 in a championship game. I'm sorry, you can't. You just absolutely cannot. If you're going to step up and claim we're the 1 overall seed in the country, if you lose by 2, 3, 4, 5, no one's gonna blink. When you get the doors blown off of you in a championship game, that tells me something. And then you need
9 days ago, Al. Get lost.
You need overtime last night.
Different tournament.
Oh, they had that game wrapped up.
They're the 1 seed, whether they win the game or lose the game. Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
They needed overtime last night against Texas.
They didn't need it. They had a miracle 3 to send. The score wasn't indicative, and then they won in overtime. They're running away with it again.
Without their 2 best players, and would have won in second overtime without their 3rd best player.
The question was, who is the most vulnerable? I said 1 or 2 seed. You guys just focus on the 1 seed. Personally, out of all those teams, I hate to say it,
was Marquette's playing an 11 seed? Like, maybe is Marquette?
That's the only reason why I'm not saying Marquette is because of their matchup. But let's face it, they've looked like crap. Both games, they meander. They meander through these games. They don't grab the person by the neck and kill them. There's no killer instinct on that team. It's like they just get by. And I understand it's survive and advance. I want to see teams kill people. I want to see what UConn's doing. I want to see what Purdue's doing. They're not allowing these teams to breathe, and they're showing their dominance. Marquette doesn't have that.
Zanni, can we talk about the one prediction that was also spot on with? Sure. Is that Houston did get through Longwood. So
yeah, you called
that.
I called that. You called it. You said it was going to be, not really a tight game, and you hit it on the head. 40-point game.
I mean, I was out on that limb, and I'm a bigger guy, so it was scary out there. But I mean, the Iowa State Illinois game is going to be the best game of, I think. I mean, sorry, on paper it looks like the best game. It's just so weird because, like, why no one's talking about that game, Al and Zan, is because that game, it seems like you're still playing just to get the right to lose to UConn. So that's why no one's talking about it. Because I just think people have already given UConn that clear path to win. I really do, to win it all. I can't see it. Like, they're so dominant right now. So no one's talking about that game, which should be awesome. We have 2 awesome teams going up against each other.
Yeah, it's
I
gonna
mean,
be
yeah, obviously that is the premier matchup going in. But I understand we have a lot of chalk winning these games, but there were some major upsets, which is what the tournament is all about. The biggest one I would say so far is Oakland over Kentucky. The stunning upset of it all was where the school college that is location of Oakland. I was stunned by this.
Michigan, right?
Apparently
Yeah.
I
Did you know
was
that, Zanny?
no, I did not. No.
So no, they need. How come Miami of Ohio has to put the Ohio in parentheses, but Oakland in Michigan doesn't need the MI or whatever it is next to it?
that was the biggest stunner of them all in the entire tournament. And then you have this guy. I mean, I just heard the name. I'm gonna completely jack it. I'm gonna completely mess it up.
Go
But
ask your wife.
I know I should. She yelled down at me. Jack Golick. I'm probably wrong. Anybody can someone correct me how to say the name?
I want you to say it wrong. That's my bugaboo is when you have to look them.
I'm just gonna call him Jack. Okay, Jack from Oakland, and that's why this tournament is compelling because his press conference after the game was awesome. He said, I know I'm not playing in the NBA, but on any given night, we can compete with NBA talent. And I thought that was awesome. And the one and done tournament is phenomenal. It creates amazing drama. And this guy, I don't want to say he single handedly won the game for them, but he was just chucking up threes left and right. And then when they showed his shot chart for the season, it was amazing. The guy for that game went 10 for 20 from 3. He didn't attempt to take a 2-pointer in that game at all. And then when you look at his shot chart for the season, he has 355 shot attempts with 347 of them being of the 3-point variety. He's attempted 8 2-pointers all season. 8. That's incredible. This guy just is like Steve Novak back in the day. He doesn't enter the 3-point arc and he just stands there and pop and shoots. That's all the guy does. It's amazing.
That can't be right.
I'm dead serious. You guys didn't see the shot chart?
No, because I was too busy watching my bracket, and one of my brackets I had Kentucky winning it all, and all I could hear is I could play the pod last week over and over in my head, where I was just like, "Oh, this Kentucky team is lottery picks all over the court." I really hope no one followed my advice and put their mortgage on it, but was I so wrong on that too? I'm like, Oakland, these Michigan guys are right, or they're still on their football high. It's not the same school.
But the issue is Kentucky basketball. I mean, Calipari has a lifetime contract over at that university, college, whatever it is. And Kentucky basketball hasn't been
The University of Kentucky.
Whatever. I knew you were going to know.
One of the finest academic institutions, in the land. Just get it right. Give it its credit.
Fine. The University of Kentucky.
Thank
with
you.
Calipari having a lifetime contract over at that university, like what do? You can't fire the guy, and the school is I don't know if it's recruiting, I don't know what it is, but they're not the same.
The NIL has changed everything. You got to understand that. Like, long gone are the days that Kentucky and let's just say Alabama in football, they're not going to get the top athletes every single time anymore because the NIL deals have changed everything. And that's good for college sports. It's going to bring more parity amongst the league.
But I guess what I'm surprised is how when you think of college basketball, you're thinking of the UNCs, the Dukes, the Blue Bloods, the Kentuckys, the Kansases. How are they not getting, and maybe they are getting the top recruits?
They're not getting it. That's exactly what I just said. The NIL deals have changed all that. So the top recruits in the country that, by the way, let's not pretend like the NIL deals have just started happening, right? They legally just started happening. So back in the day, when you were the top recruit of the country and Kentucky went out there and handed you money under the table, you went to Kentucky. They had all the money in the world to do that at that time. Now it's an even playing field. So you're not landing all those top-notch recruits anymore. It's just not the way of the world right now. So you can't look at that team and be like, oh, they're not the powerhouse that they used to be. Like, of course they're not going to be. There's such an even playing field right now. And I know it doesn't show as all the chalk is winning, but there's going to be different teams that are up there every year. And it's going to be really, really hard to be a dynasty in college sports.
What do you feel about, I mean, back in the day, obviously with LeBron and Kevin Garnett, and they flip flop on the rule with regards to players having to play the 1 year in college, then can get drafted by the NBA. I personally would rather these players go from high school to the NBA and then allow the other players that are not getting drafted, they can play in college 2 years, maybe even 3 if you want to get crazy with it, and then declare themselves. I think it helps college sports. I think it helps college basketball. And
Why would the NBA want that? Why would they want some of the best talent in the to stay an extra 2 years, potentially get hurt?
No, that's what I'm saying. If you are the best talent, you go right from high school.
Yeah,
right
but you're
to
saying it would
college.
be great. It would be so good. But the NCAA, it's not for profit. But
Wink, wink, nudge,
yeah.
nudge.
But it's why would you go to college? Why did we all go to college? Right, to get a job, to hopefully to make money. If someone could told you could make that money without actually having to go to college, all you're doing is taking 1 year of earning capacity away from these individuals. So I don't understand why three. I mean, football does 3 years too, and I think they try to say it has something to do with
Development.
development, and maybe there's probably some science to that. In fact, if you want to ask the science, you could ask one of the 2 Nobel Prize winners from the great University of Kentucky, Alex besmirched, but for another day. But if you can skip all that, and make money, the time value of money, I'm pretty sure you could put it into an Excel spreadsheet and figure out how much money people are actually losing some of this talent by having to spend their 1 year in the NBA. And that's why I don't that 1 year in college. That's why I don't think Kentucky Calipari's he did that for years. And he was right where he told people he's one of the few coaches that are very outward about, if you want to come here and do your 1 year and go to the NBA, go for it. I'll help you there. And how many lottery picks has Kentucky produced? So I think they'll be just fine. They've embraced the one and dones.
No, I feel like I feel like we're on the same path on this one. I'm saying that why even go to Zanni's saying that they're going to make. I mean, the NCAA in football has proven this with regards to Zanni's quarterback, that he is going to make and did make more money in college sports than he's going to make in his first year in the NFL, and Caleb Williams. I'm saying kind of what you're saying. Why would these guys want to go to college when they can skip the college process and go right to the NBA? But
yeah, I thought you said it'd be a net positive if they had to stay 3 years for the NCAA.
No. I'm not saying making
Probably.
it mandatory that they had to stay 3 years. I'm saying bring back the rule to allow them to go from high school directly to college. So therefore, the elite talent is going to be the NBA. The not so elite talent, or whatever you want to say, that maybe need that extra cooking and development in college, will help college basketball in a sense develop these storylines. And not to compare the two, I'm freaking watching the women's game tonight, the Iowa game against West Virginia. The only sole reason I'm watching that game is because of one person, and that's Caitlin Clark. Because of what ESPN has done, Twitter has done in building her brand, and obviously she's a generational player for the NCAA women's basketball. But there is no story like that in college basketball. And could that be because I don't follow it? Possibly. Guess what? I don't follow women's basketball either, but I know who freaking Caitlin Clark is. And
It's great that the most recognizable person in college basketball right now is Caitlin Clark, probably by a mile.
By a mile.
By a
And
mile.
that's what college basketball is missing right now. And I don't know why that is. I used to know some college basketball players, and maybe I am in the minority, and maybe there are college basketball fans that are yelling at their radio phones right now saying I'm the biggest idiot ever. But I think I have a basic knowledge of almost every sport where I can recognize the superstars. The superstar right now, in my opinion, is Edie on Duke. and that could just be because of his size. But he's also played now in this tournament. What, 3 times?
Oh, I swear he's like Hunter Renfrow. Hunter Renfrow
Right?
was in college for 9 years at Clemson. I'm
So
sure. I'm pretty sure we played football against each other in high school because Hunter Renfrow was there for forever. But I mean, people may be screaming at their radio phones, Al. You may be right, but they also. How many people do you think went straight from high school to the NBA? Like, I don't think there's going to be a parade of horribles. How many do you think?
in history?
Since 1975 to 2005, which I think was the last year that they
17.
41 people. So 41. And that last year,
You
sure,
didn't even
was.
let Zanni guess.
Oh, sorry, Zan.
20 to be fair, so I was going to be off.
No, I was gonna say I didn't have. I had to Google it. But like even if you look at the players, Dwight Howard, sure. Like I'm trying to see how many of these players
Our bus?
are in the Hall of Fame.
Okay.
3. So you don't think? I really don't think there's going to be this rush of
that list.
talent away from the NCAA
Give me that list. I'm interested now.
of the Hall of Famers.
No, just the list.
I'm not going through all 41 names, but
Give me the highlights.
well, obviously LeBron,
Mhm. Kevin Garnett,
Dwight
Tracy
Howard, Kevin Garnett, Kobe Bryant, Jermaine O'Neal. So the only Hall of Famers are Garnett, Kobe Bryant, and Tracy McGrady. And then outside of that list, the only ones that have been to an All-Star game are Rashad Lewis, Tyson Chandler, Stoudemire, LeBron,
Tyson
and
Chandler.
Dwight Howard.
I'm stunned by that.
But my point is, and even the last couple of years, like 2004, you had Dwight Howard and then a bunch of people. Sebastian Telfair didn't do much. Sean Livingston had a good career. J.R. Smith. Okay, you had a couple of decent players, but I don't think you're going to see this run of talent skipping college basketball to go right to the NBA. It didn't really work out for a ton of. It just had to be the right person, like LeBron, the generational talents, and like, I mean, Durant didn't do it.
Yeah. And
University of Texas.
He was the biggest name in college basketball.
Not that year, he wasn't.
What do you mean not that? What do you mean not that year?
Oh, I believe Greg Oden was probably the best name in college basketball that year.
I wouldn't say the best. I'm saying the.
Oh,
biggest.
he was. Well, he was drafted higher than Durant.
He was. But again,
But my point is,
big man supreme. I mean, you make a good point. You make a good point. I didn't realize the likes of J.R. Smith went from high school right to the NBA. That's asinine. Then you said Tyson Chandler. So I think that was bad advice personally from. It's hard to say it's bad advice. These guys made millions of dollars, but maybe a year in college would have changed their prospects. Probably not, but I didn't, I thought the talent level, that's why I said the number was at 17. Then I was going to say 20. I didn't think it was 40 because that talent level was a lot less than I expected.
Yeah, do you think like a Jalen Brunson or a Tyler Hero, like those, they wouldn't leave right from high school. Like they developed their game.
You're right.
So
you're right. I stand corrected. I stand corrected.
Zanni did. We didn't even talk about the Auburn Yale game first of all, which was another huge upset. I don't know. Did you catch that game at all, Zanni?
Game was that?
Auburn versus Yale.
I did catch that. I think I caught just the ending of that game. But
quite an ending.
Yeah, that was a game that Yale was behind, right? By like 8 with a couple to go, something like that.
Oh yeah. And yeah, so Yale came back and won the game. Now, did Alex tell you about our little Survivor basketball pool that we do with some of our friends?
No, he did not.
Oh, here's a story for all the people yelling at their radio phones. I think they'll get a chuckle out of this one. But so we do a joint pick between our friend Shawnee Mack, Alex, and myself. And Sean and I did it for years on our own. And this year, Alex was like, hey, I want to join the Survivor. So we pulled all our picks together. Like, all right, we'll do 3 Survivor entries. Works just like NFL Survivor. Pick a team once. They got to win. All they got to do is win, but you can't pick them again. So day 2, we took with one of our picks. We got knocked out BYU in the very first game. So that was great.
Full disclosure, I don't follow college basketball. They do. I put my full faith and trust in them. They put the 3 picks in. I'm sitting at my work computer, amped up. I know the teams we have.
So excited.
So excited. It's literally not blocked on my work computer, which I was stunned about. They say the pick is in. It's BYU. I'm like, let's go. 2 hours into this tournament, gone.
But we got through with the other two picks. We had two picks going into Friday, and all night our Thursday night pick was a tough one. Kansas, they were up by a lot, and they came back. Questionable call. Maybe we'll get to it at some point during the pod. If not, Kansas got through, so we had two picks going into Friday. So Alex is texting us nonstop, every single giving us a play-by-play, and I just said, Alex, you're not built for this, because he's hanging on every play. Kansas wins, so the next day, Sean and I are texting back and forth from each other, and we said, Alex is Al, a bit of a mush. And for those people who don't know that, a mush is someone who, when their rooting interest in the Venn diagram is your rooting interest, that team tends to lose. So we decided together that we were going to tell Al, because Al said, I give you you guys drive the car. You guys can make all the picks, do whatever you want. So we told Al we picked two teams, but we didn't. We didn't actually pick those two teams. We picked two other teams because we knew Al would root for those two teams and they would inevitably end up losing. And sure enough, Florida Atlantic has a monumental collapse and loses to Northwestern. The kid forgot the time, kind of like J.R. Smith. So Florida Atlantic loses. And then we told him, I forgot the other year. I think we told him we took New Mexico.
It
was New Mexico.
Was it San Diego or was it New Mexico?
It was New Mexico. And San Diego's still in it. So we took New Mexico. And sure enough, those two teams lose. And we are so happy. So, oh my gosh, our plan is working. This is great.
I'm trying to play it cool in the text chain. I'm like, the hell would you guys take Florida Atlantic? It's the second day of this tournament, and they're the underdogs, and they're trying to explain it to me. You
Neither
gotta
team was
look
an
at
underdog.
Neither team was.
Or New Mexico, I think, was a pick 'em, whatever. But it was
these weren't surefire bets for day two, and I'm like, why would you guys pick these teams? They're giving me all the excuses that you have to look a couple days ahead in the tournament on what team you think you're going to make it to the Elite Eight and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, whatever. I can't deal with this.
Al thinks we're out of the tournament now because he's like, we lost both our picks. But in reality, we had two picks, one being Auburn and the other one that night being Duke. So, and then I tell Alex's wife, and because she's like, he's really mad at you two. He won't tell you, but he's really angry. So you guys didn't even talk to him about the picks. You just made the picks. Like, well, he told us to drive the car, but she's like, yeah, but now he was like, he didn't even have any say. He wouldn't have picked those teams. So he's not too happy. And anyone who knows Al knows he's the most bubbly person in the world. He would never tell you he's that angry. But I could tell. Now I'm dying laughing. So I tell his wife, I'm like, Tara, we actually didn't do that. He's just such a mush. And we picked two other teams. And we figure if he's not rooting with us, those teams will get by easy. So he's then sitting there. And I was like, I'm going to root for Yale. I hope Yale wins. I said Auburn today, and you and Sean didn't pick Auburn. So I'm going to root for Yale. And so I said, yeah, go for it. I agree. I would root for Yale too. So Yale goes up by a couple points there at the end. It looks like they got the game sealed. He's like, let's go Yale, baby. And he starts really getting it to Yale. And then sure enough, they start missing free throws, stupid fouls. I'm like, yeah, keep rooting for them. So obviously Auburn misses the 3 to win the game. And I was like, well, oh, that's good. At least they lost. I'm like, yeah, about that. I told him the entire, we had to come clean.
Oh God, it was bad.
So it didn't work out that great. We got one of our two picks through, but we're still through to the next to Thursday. But we did that to fade Alex's pick. What do you think, Zanni? Do you think that was a good play, a bad play? I think the room was, I think the group text was 50-50 split on whether what we did was really, really mean or absolutely genius.
No, I think it's genius, especially against Alex. I mean, that's just makes it a little more delicious. So I like it. I like it.
Of course you do. Well, going from one gambling story to the next, our boy, or Zanni's boy, Shohei Ohtani. It is the biggest story in Major League Baseball. Comes out over the weekend or whenever it came out that Ohtani's closest friend and interpreter, I'm going to get the name completely wrong, Ipai Muzahara, reportedly stole $4.5 million But the crazy part about this is there was 2 stories that came out. The first was from Ohtani, a spokesman, and stating that the interpreter, I'm sorry, that the MVP wired money to cover the interpreter's gambling debts. And the second story that came out from Ohtani's attorneys, because they probably realized that they can't have their client, this major league superstar associated with gambling, they said that now Ohtani was the victim of theft. That Muzahara, the interpreter, stole this money unbeknown to Ohtani. And I don't buy it. Something smells fishy, something smells rotten in Denmark, and Ohtani is a rabid gambler, and he should be banned from the league. It caused the killer clowns in fantasy to get a steal of a draft. I mean, we got it for $44 when this guy is a $60 player, but that's neither here nor there. Zanni, I'm going to throw it to you. What do you think of this salacious story?
I mean, that's what you think, Mr. Attorney. That's what you think, that something doesn't smell right. Of course it doesn't smell right, Alex, because it's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. Why are they feeding it to us? You hit it on the head. The MLB cannot come out and say, this is our greatest player that we've ever had since Babe Ruth. He's putting more eyes on the product than anybody before him, but he's gambling. He's massively in a $4 million hole out of the $1 billion contract that we've given him. Obviously, they can't say that. And even if it was the interpreter, which we're not even going to name his name, we're just going to say the interpreter because nobody can pronounce his name. Obviously, they're best friends. They've been best friends for years. Of course, he's going to cover his goddamn debt. Why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he? But they can't say that. So they're going to go with the fact that he just happened to have access to his bank accounts. He wired the money. Ohtani never realized it was missing. And everybody goes their separate way.
Do we ever find out the truth on this? Or is this like the Kennedy assassination where you're just going to hear theories? Kevin Costner is going to play Hot Man Fred in a movie talking about the bank account money went up and to the left to the interpreter. Rest in peace, JFK.
Oh my God. Like what do you think absolutely happened here? Like, what do you think happened? Do you think that Ohtani is just this rabid gambler and he was like, I'm throwing my best friend under the bus for this? And the best friend was like, dude, I'll take the hit. You just got to set me up for life. Like, what do you think the plan was?
No, I honestly think that it was just the interpreter having an issue and said to Ohtani, I'm in over my head. And Ohtani said, hey, no problem. That's a drop in the freaking bucket for me. It's essentially you coming to me for $1,000, right? Like, okay, here you go, Al. No problem. Right. Pretty much what it was. And Ohtani doing the right thing for his friend and being there for him. And that's that. But you can't do that. Like you said, once the attorneys got the story, they were like, whoa, time out. We can't come out and publicly say this. This doesn't look right. And this could affect Major League Baseball. It could affect endorsements, yada, 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 yada. Even though I don't know in this day and age why it would, considering you have DraftKings or FanDuel on everything possible, but everybody's all butthurt over like talking about gambling now. Like, but I think that's the story. I don't think the story is anything crazy. I know everybody wants to think like Ohtani's this mega gambler. I don't necessarily believe that, but could it be possible? Sure, it could absolutely be possible. But I think it was Ohtani just helping his buddy out.
Do you think? I don't know. I meant to look at the CBA rules and the bylaws in the articles that I read. They were posting some stuff, but in Major League Sports, do you think it's strictly a no betting across the board on any sports, or you cannot bet on the sport that you play? Do either of you have any idea?
And what the CBA contract is, I have no idea. I think football during the season, you can't bet on any sports during the season, not just football.
Okay. And
sure probably similar in baseball and stuff of that nature.
Any sport in general.
I'm pretty sure. But again, it's such a double standard to even have that rule. Like, hey, DraftKings gave us $1 billion and they're on every commercial and they're on every sideline. But by the way, you guys aren't allowed to use it. Like, yeah, that's a pretty crazy double standard.
I saw a really good Twitter post that said ESPN E60 is going to cover this tragic story right after we have the Bad Beat sponsored by DraftKings. Come back. I mean, yeah, well, I don't know what the CBA says. Is there more to this story than we're getting? I mean, what do you think? I think you asked that question because maybe you have a different,
I
maybe
think
you're
it's
less.
I think it's always the first story that comes out. I think that I'm with Zanni on this one. He was probably helping out his buddy, and then once the lawyers got a hold of it, they were like, "You cannot be associated with this whatsoever because it has to do with gambling." And Otani didn't think twice about it. His buddy came to him. Um, I think as this story unfolds, you're going to learn more and more about this interpreter because he sounds like an absolute sleazeball who was lying up and down to everything. I mean, they were digging deep into his credentials. He lied about where he went to college. He lied about his background. How he got hooked up with Otani is anybody's guess, but he stepped in some shit, and now he's probably set for life. I don't know unless what Otani's now claiming to be is true, and that this dude stole money from him, and a criminal investigation is launched, which I don't think it is. Like I said, I think it's the first story. His buddy was in trouble. He gave him the money. They heard betting. The attorneys got in, and then they fabricated this whole other story and saying that he stole the money. How? Like, listen, I don't understand how the interpreter would have access to his bank accounts. Like, what are we talking about?
Exactly. Like, exactly. How would that be a thing where he can just go wire 4.1 or 4.5, I think you said,
Mhm.
$1 million out of a bank account? Nah, I don't think so.
And again, people are like, well, how could you not know 4.5? Like, he's a multi billionaire. You're not going to notice. He's not going to notice if 4.5 was not in his bank account. So I'm not going to besmirch him because of that. It's the whole idea of him having access to this account. Now, could Otani be that dumb that he's giving his friend access to his accounts? Maybe, and that's what has to come out. But I'm not buying it. I think he fully knew what was going on. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Not buying that one bit either. Not at all.
And I think that he knew what was going on. Maybe he didn't know that his friend was actively gambling. And he was actively gambling maybe on baseball, but he learned about it through his conversations and through his dealings with his friend. And once he realized $4.5 million in the hole, he stepped up to him, and that's kind of where we are at. And the statement that he gave today, the first time he's talked since the story broke out, he's sticking to the second story, saying that it was a theft issue, and that's the story he's gonna ride or die with. And when this investigation and the clouds clear, Brendan might be right. We may not know the whole truth, but when you have a story like this break and you have a spokesman come out with one version and then a short time thereafter a complete other version comes out, it's going to send up alarm bells to everybody.
This is the type of thing that is prime for conspiracy theories, though. For all the reasons it's the most high profile player in baseball, a lot of money. I don't really know a ton about the story. Was it like being done to a casino or to an account, or was it
No,
done through like offshore?
No, it
Or...
was all
no,
done through like
private bookie.
bookies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is the type of thing that it would make sense for Major League Baseball to want to cover up, right? And I think that's what's fueling the conspiracy theories. Do I think it's true? I have no idea. I would be remiss, sorry, it would be negligent of me to opine, say something otherwise. But if this was, let's say it was Otani betting, and let's say it was in baseball, what's the easier thing to do? Is it to just blame it on a fall person being the interpreter here? Or is it to admit that you're franchise, the face of baseball? And you said this last pod, Sandy, like baseball's looking for a reason to put fans in the stands, and they got it with Otani. It's like this would be just a massive, massive blow to baseball if this turned out that Otani was in any way, shape implicated or involved in this outside of what's already been reported. So that's why I think it's fueling the cover ups. I said something on Twitter before I got on about they were showing like I don't know, it was like an over under or a spread in a baseball game, and there's a huge bet placed on it, and Ohtani like just grooved one right over the middle. I mean, his elbow was hurting him last year. Like you have to like look and be like, people give up home runs. Like
They're
it's
gonna
very
do that
easy.
all
You
the
can
time now. They're gonna do it all the time. It was the Braves. Somebody bet a large amount in I don't want to say it was Otani's hometown, but it was the same country, and somebody bet an insanely large amount on the Braves winning that game with a spread of -3.5, and the Braves scoring more than 6 runs in the game. And Otani was pitching. And Otani gave up whatever it was, I think 7 runs in the game. And Otani at the plate was like 0 for 4 with like 3 strikeouts. And it was just like, that's interesting. Now, again, you can kind of do that with a lot of bets. Um, Otani is not going to be perfect. He's always going to have off games, but that's what's going to happen on Twitter. It's going to happen a lot. You're going to see that was just one example that I happen to see the same thing as you, Brendan, but more and more is going to come out. People are going to keep going through the games that he played poorly and somehow correlate them to, plays that came in and try to match them up.
And it's not like other sports where one player in baseball, the timing has to be right. You have to be up at the correct point in the game with runners on. It's hard for you to control or really affect the outcome of the game. Timing is everything. For Ohtani,
You're right.
that's what I'm saying. For
Yeah.
Ohtani, it's different because
Yeah,
he can control the game in 2 different ways.
Correct.
So I am with you. Every single one of those games is going to be dissected.
It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him though. Like again, the guy has so much money. Like
Yeah.
why? I don't know. Maybe it's just, maybe it's a disease. Maybe it's something that he can't control. I still don't think he did it personally, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. It's going to be a story for a long time, and like you said, Brendan, it'd be the absolute worst case scenario for Major League Baseball. They need him desperately. They're going to miss the fact that he doesn't even pitch this year. They're going to miss that. They need him. Baseball's dying, man. It's a dying sport, and I hate to say that as a true baseball guy and a baseball coach. Like it's a dying sport right now, and they just have to figure it out and somehow bring it back.
And going back to those bets, the fact that he's going through and I don't know much about this, but the fact that he's going through bookies and not going through major casinos, how much does a interpreter make? Like how much is he making? Is he making a cut off of Otani's deals? Like I have obviously no idea. Is he making, what the agents are making? I have no idea. But to put yourself in that much debt and to put your bets in through bookies as opposed to a DraftKings in California, like I don't know how it works, or a casino in Vegas where he can get to, is sketchy. Goes back to the fishy aspect of it. But
I don't agree with you there, but
why not?
I mean, if he's trying to stay under the radar, he's going to go through a bookie.
But why? But if he's the interpreter, and again, I don't know the CBA, so maybe I'm the doofus here, regardless of this. But and maybe the rule is anybody associated with the game, like if you just work for the team, you can't gamble. So then yes, if he's trying to stay under the radar, that makes a lot of sense. But if that's not in the rules, like why would he care if he's staying under the radar?
Maybe he's like Sixer and he likes to support the local bookies. Joking, Brendan.
No, I was on mute. I don't know. I think Al's got to travel to Denmark and smell the fish because something does smell fishy. Where did that come from, by the way, Al?
Something smells
Something's
rotten
fishy
in
in Denmark?
No, I said something smells rotten in Denmark.
What is that from?
It's got to be from something. Is it a play or is it a?
Gotta be
I don't know.
Somebody look this up. I didn't just
I
make
wouldn't
this
just
up.
say it out of nowhere.
Someone who's been to Copenhagen. It's lovely there.
No. You got nothing? You got nothing from it's rotten in Denmark? It's something.
I was like trying to look it up because you also use besmirch quite a bit, but you besmirch Denmark and the great people in the bluegrass state. So
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark is a quote. That the line refers to, I don't know what it's from. The ghost is a visit. Nah, I don't know where I got it from. Oh, Hamlet. Hamlet. Ah, I knew it. I knew it. It's
Withdrawn.
amazing.
Objection withdrawn. Withdrawn.
But going to Zanni's point that baseball is dying, I want to talk about 2 rule changes. And Zanni, we've talked about this in the past, where the rule changes in the last 5 years in baseball have improved the game in my eyes, in a sense where it sped up the game. The pitching changes are slowing down the game. The pitch clock, I think, has been huge. But then this year, one of the rule changes was you can't block the bag, any bag. Originally, it was home plate when the Buster Posey injury back in the day. I mean, what were we talking about? 15 years ago, maybe less now. When he snapped his ankle in two on a collision at the plate, so they were making it so you can't block the plate. But now they've gone too far, saying that somebody's stealing second, stealing third, you can't block the bag whatsoever. And I bring it up because I sent you a clip, Z, on Instagram or Twitter, and I think it was a preseason Yankee or I think it was a Met game actually with Lindor, and somebody was stealing second. The guy was out by 6-7 steps. Lindor, I don't even think was blocking the bag. The guy would have been out no matter what, and the umpire says safe, blocking the bag, gave him the bag. And it was disgusting. And I know you're the purist, not the purist, but you're for the rule changes, but I think they went too far on this one.
Way too far. Terrible, terrible rule. Don't even know the logic of it. With that being said, I feel like it's a slightly easy fix if you're the defender. And I mean slightly because the throw has to be perfect, which many times the throw is perfect. But if they almost straddle the base, so both feet, 1 foot on one side of the base, 1 foot on the other side of the base, wait for the throw to get there and drop the tag, great. You can draw that up and that seems perfect. But if that throws off a little bit in any way, shape, or form, and they have to move their feet, they're going to be blocking the base. It's a terrible rule. I really don't understand the logic of it. I quasi understood it at home as like CTE started to be more of a thing and we started to learn more about concussions and stuff that nature. And people were just barreling the catcher down, which, was not very fair for them. I understood that rule, but it's like now we're starting to get a little ridiculous. And I'm hoping that it's just the spring training aspect where they're like, we're going to really crack down on this.
Yep.
And we're not going to really call it during the year, because if that starts getting called during the year, that's going to lead to some really bad baseball. It's a terrible, terrible thing. I don't know where they were coming from that. I really don't.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's going to be they can adjust on the perfect throw, like the Lindor play that I sent you. That guy was going to be out, and Lindor will adjust to that. It's the one where the throw on a throw down to second from home, it's a little bit on the second base side. The shortstop, second baseman has to adjust to it, and now he is going into the path of the runner just to catch the ball. They make an amazing play. He's clearly out, but the umpire is going to say, because of the path of the travel to catch the ball, he's blocking the plate. I'm sorry, blocking the bag, and the runner's safe. What are we doing there? What can you do there? What are you going to teach the infielder, not to catch the baseball?
I have the same question, Alex, and I don't really understand it. And like I said, I hope that they're just trying to be, tough calling it now, and then the season starts and they don't really call it. I don't know where you come up with that rule. I don't really understand it. It's terrible for the game. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't get it. It's starting to ruin the sport. So I don't really, and not for anything. If you have half the bag that you can slide into, what the hell's the difference?
Right.
Just slide into the half the bag.
I personally think if they really want to worry about this, make the damn bases bigger. They made first base bigger, and they're worried about blocking the bag. Just make the bag bigger so it allows the infielder to make an athletic play on wherever the ball is, and allows the runner an opportunity to tag the bag. Like, why are they why are they making that change as opposed to making the logical change and making the base bigger?
It's part of the whole thing about being a base runner too, is kind of like seeing where the other guy is and then slide into where he is.
Sliding away from the runner. How many times have you taught your kids with regards
Yeah,
to,
from
especially
Little League on,
you
so
slide, you watch where the third baseman is receiving the ball, and you slide away from that, or second baseman or shortstop, you slide away from where you believe the ball is coming from, away from the tag. It's
yeah,
that's the strategy. Now we're getting away from that.
yeah, you're right.
And the other rule I wanted to bring out, and Sixer, this is more up your alley, is the I guess it was the GM meeting, or the, I don't know what it is, the head coach meeting for the NFL. They have outlawed and banned the hip drop tackle. Did you get a chance to see that, Six?
I did, and I had no idea what a hip drop tackle was, and I've been watching football my whole life. It's the stupidest. It's so dumb. Just switch to flag football if that's what we're gonna do. Because I understand Mark Andrews got hurt. It was Al's favorite player outside of Hunter Renfro and McCaffrey, but injuries are going to happen. I mean, you banned the horse collar tackle, but I think that was a little easier to sort of police because it's pretty easy. Like, what is a hip drop? I literally had to Google what a hip drop tackle was, and they were showing tackles that would qualify. And I'm like, that's a tackle. You put your head across, you wrap. Like, what are we doing here?
You drag,
So I don't, I'm not sure how it's going to get policed. And how did they address that? But they still haven't addressed the onside kick rule, which is the dumbest play in football. Just do I love the idea of just make it a 4th and 10 from the 30-yard line, from your own 30, and go ahead. So if you miss it, that would make the game so much better. But we're concentrating on the hip drop, that the Mark Andrews rule, that's what I'm going to call it. It's how are we possibly going to, what's going to happen? This is going to be great. It's going to be an awesome play. Probably going to be the Jets because I'm a diehard Jets fan. Jets are going to about to secure the division. Josh Allen's going to be scrambling for a first down, and you're going to see Will McDonald come out of nowhere and drag him down just short on 4th and 6. We're going to be jumping up and down. Zanni and I are going to be going crazy. We're winning the East. We're going to the playoffs. And there's going to be a flag because someone pulled him down with a hip tackle. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words. You heard it March 26th.
You're 100% right. Speaking of which, and I'll have an answer for this hip tackle in a second, but the over unders for wins in the season came out. Any idea what the Jets are at?
Oh gosh. What do I think they should be at, or what are they at?
Give me both.
I think if I were them, I'd put the Jets at, I'd go 8.5 or 9.5.
I'm going to go 10.5.
It was 9.5.
Damn it, I was going to say 9.5 too.
So I think 9's the number.
I really thought they were going to be at 10.5. I'll be honest with you. I really did. And
the talent's there.
The Bills are at 10.5. Dolphins are at 10.5. The Jets are at 9.5. And I'm going to sound like such a
Bills lost their whole defense.
I just don't see how the Jets aren't better than both those teams.
No, Zanni, you're right. I was looking at the Bills roster and why they made all those moves. Like, it was crazy. I was in Myrtle Beach golfing with my brother and my sister's boyfriend, and all the Bills just got rid of half their All-Pro secondary. I'm like, why? And I forgot, they owe. Do you know they owe $26 million to former Super Bowl MVP
Von Miller?
Von Miller. He gets $26 million to the cap, against the cap next year. And he had a total of 1 sack and I think 3 quarterback hits last year. That is an atrocious contract. So I with Zanni on that. The Dolphins too, they're very good, but I don't know, they're certainly beatable. And the Patriots are going to be
atrocious.
They're going to be really bad. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers is healthy, oh man, here we go. Stop. Stop. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this?
Really, really good regular season game.
Why are we doing this?
They're the type of team that if you play physical with them, they're not going to be able to be physical with you because they're very small. They're very fast, but they're very small. But this hip tackle thing kind of plays right in their hands because, like you said, Brendan, it's almost like let's play flag football. And if you play flag football, the Dolphins are probably going to be the best team in the league.
Yeah. That's just a tackle. It's gonna affect a game in a really bad way, and that's what's gonna take. It's gonna be exactly like when the NFL refs went on strike, and it took a horrific call, Seahawks Packers, for them to be like, this was okay. We need to figure this out because this is now affecting games. That will affect the game on a tackle, on a fourth, or whatever. It's weird because now you have the target zone for quarterbacks, where like you can't do things like. I thought, I thought a hip drop tackle was? I thought it was when you like suplex, Brock
Right.
Lesnar or someone. I
Right.
thought that's what that was. And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like if you have someone, you lift them up off the ground, throw them. But I'm like, that's already been a penalty.
Mhm.
This is that. Then I saw what it actually was, and I'm like, that's a tackle.
But
That is a tackle.
that's the problem. They are making these rules that are too subjective, too much so that the refs are going to affect outcomes of games more than they ever have, because it's a physical, violent game and bodies are out of control, and you're going to have these you're going to have cornerbacks and safeties much smaller going against tight ends or larger running backs. The only way they're going to bring them down is to either go low and take out their knees, and people are going to lose their minds because of the knee injuries, or they're going to go high, jump on their shoulder pads, and just try to swing them down, and then it's going to be a hip tackle. That's what
What's
we're
your target
talking
area
about.
now, from the shoulders to the belly button? Like where?
Exactly. It's the midsection. The Tom Brady rule with regards to sacking quarterbacks is now expanded to every other position on the field. That's what we're
It makes
talking
sense
about.
for quarterbacks because they're vulnerable. And actually, like I think the game adapted a little better now because now you don't see people diving at the knees of the quarterback anymore. Fine. You see them, they do the people, I think, the hit to the heads or whatever, you see that, but the general thought is now people go with the target
The
area.
hit to the head for the quarterback ones that drive me
Needs
nuts
to be
is not is helmet to helmet. I completely understand.
Yeah.
It's the
Well,
one
forcible
where
contact.
they're getting blocked and their hands are up. They
There
go to
goes,
try to
yeah.
block the football and
And
they
the hand
accidentally
goes into the
touch
It's
helmet.
their
gotta be
helmet.
forcible. It's gotta be forcible contact.
Like again, it's a subjective thing. Define forcible to me. Define it.
Not someone grazes the head on the way by and gets 15 yards. I think you need to put a little bit more. You need to give a little bit more latitude to the officials. Like they're like judges out there, where you just need to give a little more latitude to them to make the correct call for the circumstances. Didn't One thing college football has done great was, remember all the booth reviews for the
Yes.
and used to get ejected from the game for leading with the helmet, which I
Mhm.
hate that rule. I think it's so bad.
The targeting thing,
The
right?
targeting thing, yeah. If you're leading with the helmet, you got targeting was an automatic review. And then they went and they changed it and said, okay, it's gonna always be a penalty, but we won't eject you from the game if we don't think we've made a bad call. And then this year they said, okay, you know what? If we're gonna review it anyway, let's just get the call right. And if
Yes.
there's no forcible, they don't have indicators,
Yep.
you're gonna stay in the game and it's not gonna be a penalty. So, and that's the way it should be. So you have people getting thrown out of games, like it was affecting games. But give the ref some latitude. Where if you go by and you graze Josh Allen on the side of the helmet and it's not in the face mask, that shouldn't be a penalty. If you come down, like you said, you're getting blocked in your elbow or your arm, it's got to be forcible contact, and that's got to be, they got to make it a point. These refs get paid enough money.
They do. They do. I just and six. You ref. Less rules and less calls that are subjective in nature is better, and it's easier for the officials. That's why out of bounds is so easy to call, because it's either in or it's out. When you have
They're
these
like the
subject,
push, the force outs, and they got rid of that. But
yeah,
there's a way that that rule can be better. I don't think the theory behind the rule is not a bad one, but the way it's in practice, they said any contact to the head is a penalty, and you're a lawyer, right? Like it's like there's
I don't think it should be any contact to the head. I think it should be
yeah.
helmet to helmet. If you're not getting a concussion if you're getting a hand or forearm to the head, that you're not getting a concussion from that.
You don't think they could adjudicate forcible contact though? I think the refs are smart enough. They know the difference.
They haven't been. We've seen penalties last year where it was blow to the head, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" The guy was
No, I
being
meant with the
blocked.
quarterback. Because right now
Dude,
it's if if you get grazed on the way by.
that's what I'm talking about. We saw plays last year, and Dan, correct me if I'm wrong, where the dude is being blocked, hands up trying to block the pass. He tries to come down to block the throwing arm of the quarterback, misses the arm, misses the ball, and hits the guy in the head. Then that's the penalty.
100%.
But that's the rule.
That's
We
ridiculous.
get that's the rule, but it should be like not
Anything.
the rule. It should,
Yeah, but you're saying, oh, the refs can't adjudicate it now. No, they're calling the rule the way it's written.
No,
Yeah.
okay, fine. Yes, maybe I misunderstood. I'm saying that should not have been in the rule book. a forcible
Yeah.
blow
Should
with your
have
hand to the head.
discretion. They should have discretion on it. If you're dropping an AJ Styles phenomenal forearm on the quarterback, then yes, we get it. It's a penalty. But if you're just getting blocked and your
Two
hand
WWE
comes down and
references.
smacks the helmet of the quarterback, that should not be a penalty. If you want to, and much to your credit, Six, if you want to throw the flag and then have the automatic booth review and be like, hey, nope, we're good, pick it up and move on. I like that. And that's college has it right, man, where they're very quick with it. NFL's not like that. They review
They
everything.
have a spotter in the booth looking at the review anyway. You have a million TV angles. Just have them buzz down if they think there's an issue.
I agree completely.
So why not just do it that way? Like that just makes way more sense. But
Yeah,
and we haven't got rid of the onside kick thing.
Yeah.
Like the XFL has that right. The onside kick is the stupidest. It's the dumbest thing. And like if you're down 9 with a minute left, there's they made the onside kick impossible to get. Just make it another play.
Yes.
Make it a 4th and 10. It'll make
Yeah.
the games way more interesting. I think
Oh
that's
my! It
unanimous.
makes no sense. Like they want these games to be competitive at the end. There's a very obvious way to do it, and they just refuse to embrace it.
I think the owners need to get the A to Z podcast and get you two at the governor's meeting because gotta listen to their fans, right? Just like the Islanders need to.
Ugh.
Oh, God.
In the show notes, I had a little line about the Islanders. I'm disgusted. I don't even want to do it. When they're dead and gone, I'll revisit it. But I'm not. I'm ready for trivia. Are you
Now
guys
you're
ready?
How
seeing
nice
me
it is, though, Al.
smiling
You get
at the Islanders. I love it. Here we are in
Al
March.
gets to
How
you get to
seeing me
enjoy
smiling?
Memorial Day. You get to enjoy the start of the summer. You get the barbecue. You know how tough it is every year being a Rangers fan, and I got to be watching playoff hockey and Memorial Day and like being a June. I'd rather be golfing. Yeah,
June. This guy's talking about June hockey in his lifetime. It's happened once.
I'm just saying, it's just so nice. You know, these grays, Al, these are all Game 7 grays.
These are all Game 7 grays. Yeah.
That's why you have a beautiful head of hair. People can't see it at home. Not a gray in his head. You know why? He never has to sweat out these, just year after year, deep
also
playoff runs.
I'm also not a
Fans
Jet
last
fan.
year.
You two are the Jet fans. The hip drop rule. Instead of just yelling about how crazy the rule is, you guys are automatically going in. How can this screw the Jets?
It will, because that train's never late.
And,
Anyway.
and by the way, Zach Wilson might still be a Jet come kickoff of the new year because Woody Johnson came out and said today that he's not gonna trade him.
No.
Yeah.
No one wants him, I heard.
Why is Woody Johnson involved in this? Like you have a general manager, man. Like, stop it.
So it's like I saw this headline and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Like, what now? What now? But he's gonna be the number 3 behind Rodgers and Tyrod. Like, dude, I don't want him being the number 3 on my high school football team. Like, what are we doing here?
I don't want him in his locker room.
Yeah, no, get him out.
The Jets were at JJ McCarthy's pro day and they were showing him like on the run throwing this dime down the field. And I'm like, oh God, we've seen this before.
Yeah.
That was the Zach Wilson throw that the
People
Jet
fell in love
fans
with.
fell in love with.
Fell in love with. This guy can make all the throws. I'm like, it's very easy to throw indoors. No one's rushing you to a wide open receiver. And like, you can train how to do that. It's when other stuff's going on that he loses his mind.
I had an absolutely phenomenal trivia question, but it was so football centric, and I didn't see football really in the show notes outside of the outside of the hip thing. So I'm gonna save it in the bank, and if you'll have me back around draft time, it's very draft related, but it was a crazy sort of stat that I was looking up the other day.
I remember this now. You better write this down and remember it.
All right, well, you can save that one because I'm assuming Zanni brought no trivia with him today.
No, I did not.
All right, so I'll give you guys the trivia. It's 2 questions.
Oh, I got a good
And
one too.
They are football related. One is pretty easy. The other one's a little harder. Okay, and they are of the same. It's a 2-parter, if you will. So the first question is: name the top 5 teams that have the most playoff wins in the Super Bowl era.
Steelers.
And if you can get number 6, I mean, you guys are gonna get a lollipop on that one because 6 blew my mind.
All right, shut up.
Wait,
Steelers,
how many top 5?
Top 5, yes.
Steelers, Cowboys.
Steelers, Cowboys, number 3 and 4.
Okay, Chiefs.
Chiefs is not there.
They're on this. Not oh, really.
Niners.
Deep runs.
Niners, number 1 at 38. So you have Number 1, number 3, and number 4. Missing number 2 and 5.
Oh, Buffalo.
Buffalo is incorrect.
How are they not? They had those run. I guess they're bad for so long, but
They were bad, and they really haven't been good since.
Uh,
They were red hot for those 4 years.
yeah, they had deep runs. That's the thing. Like,
Patriots.
Patriots, number 2 at 37.
6.
So
Are
you
you
got-
playing?
what's that?
you have-
I said, are you playing here?
No, apparently not. I mean, I was
you,
gonna
have
say
you have Niners at 38, Patriots at 37, Steelers at 36, Cowboys at 36, missing number 5.
all right. I think I have a guess on this one. It's gotta be a team that makes the playoffs a lot. So there's a lot goes into it, and teams that tend to like go on like okay runs in the playoffs do, and they get bounced. And for some reason, I'm thinking the Broncos.
Broncos is incorrect.
Damn it! Good in the '80s, good in the '90s, and they had that run with Manning,
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
Tebow game. I'm out. Leave this one to your capable hands, Zanni.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
I mean, we just almost put Lupin as the Giants, but they were so bad for so long.
Honestly, I
They
was
made
gonna
deep
guess that, but
runs.
I don't think I was gonna guess that, but I just don't think that's possible.
They made deep runs. That's the other thing.
Wait, what was the team you said? Sorry.
We thought the Giants maybe because like you're trying to throw us, but they had made deep runs, but they're
Giants is not correct. I'm trying to get you the
What about the Eagles?
ooh.
Eagles are just ahead of the Giants. Eagles at 22. Actually, they have the same amount, 22 and 22.
Oh wow! All right.
They are 11 and 12. So you're missing number 5 still. To answer your question, 6, the Chiefs are at number 7. The Broncos are at number
I think I might know number 6 because they never mind. The Vikings?
Ooh, good guess. Vikings are not there.
So good in the 70s.
Great guess. Great guess.
Had that Morton Anderson, they had the Randy Moss run, and then recently they've been there a lot. Oh, wow.
Mhm. Problem is recently they've been a lot of one and done.
Yeah, for sure.
Dolphins.
Dolphins is not correct.
Like weird, like the Seahawks because they were like, but they weren't good in the '90s. Can't be the Seahawks, not
Not
Seahawks.
the Seahawks.
Or the Dolphins at?
I don't even really see. There they are. There are 15 with 20.
Can't be the Ravens because they're the Browns. They hold all the Browns records, so it can't be them.
Oh, yeah, that could be good. Oh no,
No, it's not that. It's not them because they have all the Brown. They have the Browns history. So
true.
because that's be a team that's also been around for like you would think for a while. So teams that have been around traditionally make the playoffs quite a bit. Which that's why I think the Steelers are a great guess because they're always there. The Patriots are always there. Cardinals.
The Colts.
Colts are not there.
Damn, really?
They were bad for so long in the
Colts are just ahead of the Eagles and the Giants at 23 wins. Good guess, though. Very good guess.
I thought I had it there. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, obviously.
No,
this-
no, no,
I'm
no, no,
I'm
no.
not.
Nope.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't wanna
I'm
know.
not. I'm not. I'm not.
Just shut up. Um,
Titans.
what about the Rams? Did we say the Rams yet?
You didn't. I don't think it's them.
Not
St.
the
Louis
Rams.
Rams.
Just ahead of the Colts at 23.
Packers. Packers.
Boom!
Oh,
The
you said the Packers.
Packers.
Oh, I would have.
Let's
The
go.
Packers at 34. Top 5 are the Niners,
Good
Patriots,
one.
Steelers, Cowboys, Packers. Now number 6 is the one that blew my mind.
It's got to be a team that's like kind of like recent, I guess. Then if it blew their mind, that's why I was like,
Blew his mind.
that's why I thought the Vikings were the 6 because like
Vikings was a very good guess.
Blew your
good
mind.
enough.
The Bears.
Nope.
Good guess.
Redskins.
Nope.
How's this blowing your
That
mind?
the Seahawks? No, Seahawks didn't. They were bad because they weren't good in the night. Like
The Jets.
no, Jets are the worst. I'll be over that.
I mean, you said blew your mind, so
The Jets have the worst like Super Bowl era. Like they're like the worst team in the expansion era. They're like one or two. Oh,
Really?
my buddy Tom always reminds me of that.
Raiders.
He's a Jet fan too.
Boom! There
Raiders?
you go. See the Raiders.
Oh, the Raiders. Wow, I never would. Yeah, that's
No
true.
chance. 25 wins. All right. So the second part, nicely done. The second
Very nicely
part to that question. Now we've got the most playoff wins. Give me the top 5 most playoff losses
Oh,
in the
gee.
Super Bowl era.
Bills.
Right off the bat. And the Bills are not there.
What?
Would this be a team? Well, because it wouldn't have to almost reciprocate that list because unless they won the Super Bowl, that team would have had to have lost
Right.
at some point. They would have had to make all those playoffs. So
Yeah. Yeah. So Steelers.
Steelers, yeah.
Steelers number 3 at 27.
Cowboys. Niners.
Cowboys at number 2 at 31.
Pretty
Niners
easy once you
are
crack that code. No.
that
Yeah.
was, I mean, it was impressive. Niners are not top 5.
Probably wouldn't have got that without 6. I'm not gonna lie.
They're missing number 1.
You're missing number 1.
The Raiders.
Nope. Number 1's tough. Number 1 is very tough.
Again, they gotta be a team that makes Vikings.
Boom!
Wow.
Nice. The Vikings.
Vikings.
Plains in? Oh, just
So you, so you got the Vikings, the Cowboys, the Steelers. You're missing number 4 and 5.
Like we said, the Cowboys, isn't it?
Oh, that's a good one, Al.
I still want to say the Eagles. I don't know why I keep thinking.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. The Eagles.
Nicely done. Number 4.
All right, good.
So we're missing number 5. Let's see. If the Packers were in there that many times, they only won Super Bowls 1, 2, Favre, and then one with Rodgers. So every other one they would have lost at least one. It's Packers.
Good guess, but not the Packers.
Damn
it.
Should it be the Patriots?
All you're really thinking of now is what team has made the playoffs the most,
Right.
not necessarily winning a Super Bowl. Boy.
Mm,
Team that makes the playoffs a lot, never wins. That's why the Vikings were a good guess. The Giants?
Nope.
Nah, I didn't think so.
Giants have appeared in 40 playoff games. They are 18 and 22. Not great.
Can't be the Patriots because they win a lot, so they
Well,
had
and
won a lot.
apparently they were bad for a.
Yeah, they're bad. They
were
were so
bad.
bad in Tecmo Super Bowl. I
59.
love how my knowledge of teams that were bad in the 90s is based on
I would
how
love
they
to
were
know
bad.
what I mean. I would love to know what their playoff record before Brady was because they have appeared in 59 games and they're 22 and 37.
Can you give us the number of losses they had? I don't think that's a big hint. I'm just curious.
Number of losses for this team was 25. So put it in perspective, the
They made
Vikings
25
were
playoffs.
the Vikings were 31, Dallas was 31,
So they
Pittsburgh
made the playoffs 25 times without winning a Super Bowl.
that is correct.
Saints.
Good.
Nope.
guess. Broncos?
Nope.
Not the Cowboys.
No. Chargers.
Negative.
Maybe not the Chiefs either.
Not the Chiefs.
Not the Chiefs.
Because again, they won too many in that.
You know what's crazy? This is not the answer. Cleveland has 26 playoff games. They're 18. And how's that possible? Am I reading this wrong? Oh no, that makes sense. Yeah. It's they're 18 and 8, but they are reversing their wins
Bengals?
losses.
I don't think it's another North team, so I don't think it's like the Bengals because they didn't make it enough. They had to have been around for a long time. Jets didn't make enough playoffs to be on that list. Like, what teams like just always made the playoffs or were just garbage in the playoffs? We said the Dolphins, right?
What about the Falcons? They were pretty solid for a while. Did we say that already?
Yes. No, we didn't.
Didn't say it. Not the Falcons.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a good guess. That's such a good guess. Man.
I'm trying to think. NFC. I'm going.
It's not the Panthers, not the Jaguars. They weren't around long enough. Not the Texans, not around long enough.
thinking NFC West. I just can't think
I
of.
know.
We said the Niners. I just can't. We said the
the
Seahawks.
Seahawks.
I can't think of the other two teams for some reason.
Oh, it's Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals,
Cardinals.
and
Rams.
Rams.
Uh,
I don't think the Rams are good enough to be in there.
Not the Rams.
No, yeah, I don't. Crazy to throw this out there. The Bears?
Not the Bears.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't think they were decent.
I like that guess though, just because of like you said, you got to think of teams that have been around forever, but they just never really make the playoffs.
Titans. Did we say the Titans?
They're the old
Yeah.
Oilers. Does that count?
Nah. No. Sorry. Tennessee, 40 games, 23 losses, 7.
It's not the Bills. We said that.
Not the Bills. The Bears, for reference, 26.
Commanders?
games. Not the Commanders. Bears were 26 games, 15 losses, 11 wins.
I feel like
Commanders
Colt-
36.
The Colts were just so bad though in the night. They were bad in Tecmo Bowl. But then I don't know. They also went and how many times they lose with
Vanderjack
missing kicks and stuff.
That's it. It's the Colts.
Did the Colts?
Colts. There it is.
Good one.
48 games played, 25 losses, 23 wins.
Pretty good.
How did you know? Did I smile when he said it?
Yeah, you smirked.
Bad
Oh.
poker face.
Damn it. Sorry. Yeah, I blew that one.
Mine's really quick if you want to get. Do we have time?
Yeah.
Okay. Mine's really quick. I think you guys are going to like it too.
Huh? We're good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got.
Yeah.
Wait,
Give us the
producer.
thumbs up.
Yeah, we're good.
we're good. Yeah.
Wait, quick commercial break, real quick, Six. We'll get back to you. Hold on.
I know.
Commercial sponsored by DraftKings.
Sure. Oh man. Yeah, that was a good
No
meme.
way.
Okay. So mine, you may want to get your brackets for this one. But there are currently 4 teams left in the NCAA tournament that are going for their first ever Final Four appearance. There are 4 teams in the NCAA tournament going for their first ever Final Four appearance.
Okay.
Can you name them?
NC State?
Nope.
No,
Oh,
they
come
won the
on.
championship. They won the championship.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I knew that, obviously.
Cutting
For
down the
some reason,
nets.
for some reason, I'm thinking Iowa State.
Illinois.
Nope. And nope.
Really?
San Diego State. San Diego State.
They were there last year.
Damn it! Damn
They
you,
were finals
Six.
last year. Sorry, I was
Oh,
very
that was- that was-
passive aggressive on that one. Sorry.
That was very funny.
All right. I don't know college basketball, apparently.
Hold on.
It's not that obvious. I was actually very surprised. Stop looking it up.
I'm
Creighton?
not. I'm looking at the bracket like you
One.
said.
Creighton's one.
Creighton?
And if I'm wrong, I was going off a 2023 list, but so anyone, our
Ooh.
Omaha, Nebraska listeners will tell us if we're wrong, if I'm wrong on that, but it's one.
Alabama.
I was gonna
Dude,
say Alabama.
that's
Damn
2?
it.
We're gonna say a lot of things after I said it.
I know.
You even playing now?
You know what's weird is this is probably a terrible guess, but I'm just going off the fact that I feel like every year I had them being good. And
No,
every
they're in.
year
They've
they
made it to
got
the Final
better.
Four. Don't say Gonzaga. They've made it to the Final
I'm not
Four.
saying Gonzaga.
Okay.
I'm saying Purdue because every time I've always picked them, they've just
No.
never gone anywhere.
I'd be very upset. Is that not true? Okay, good.
Not
Then
Purdue.
I was thinking Marquette then.
But Purdue hasn't done it, and Marquette won a championship, Al.
All right.
That
well,
guy. Huh.
Purdue's been to 2, not since 1980.
When did
19.
Marquette win?
All right, so
1974, I think.
All right, you're making me.
If
sound
I
like
have
a-
that
oh
right,
my-
I'd be. Oh man, I hope
You're
the Laverne
mocking
and
me
Shirley's
on
of
the
the world.
Marquette knowledge over here. Well before I was born, the NC State one is every year we say with
1977.
Valvano and the V Foundation.
1977, they won it.
All
No,
right.
they were the runner-up in 74. Oh, that's so bad. They're also there in 2003, so I just remember I was in high school
Uh,
20 years ago.
so then Tennessee,
let's see. Yeah.
Volunteer state, so you got 3. You're still missing one.
the SEC, Bama, Tennessee.
See, I love the volunteer state and the bluegrass state, everything that the South has to offer, Alex.
Clemson.
It's not
Research is
UConn. It's not San Diego State. It's not Duke.
Is it Clemson? Yeah, I'm like, you keep going with the Southern aspect. It's got to be Clemson.
It's Clemson.
Damn.
Wow.
I mean, it makes sense. The Florida really screwed us this year, but I mean, those are your traditional big time football schools.
I
right?
would have thought Tennessee and Clemson have been to at least one.
Yeah.
Tennessee for sure. Clemson, I'm okay with. When the hell did when was Iowa State there?
1942.
Yeah,
44. 1944.
Yeah. yeah.
Because I was looking up the way I came up with this trivia, it was that I was looking up the best teams to not have a Final Four appearance, and everyone kept saying BYU, and I wanted to throw my laptop through the window because I'm like, I can't even get out of the first round. I can't even beat Duquesne. So I don't know what business they have. But yeah, 1944, Iowa State went to the Final Four.
You weren't just making that up?
Was I making up lying?
I thought you just were making up the year, and when you said 44, I was like, oh my god.
Hey, I do my research. It may not go in the show notes, but do my research, Al.
I love it. I love it.
And yet you think the six of us can score 10 points, whatever it is on Virginia. Get lost. Yeah.
Well, there you go. More likely to happen. Us scoring 2 points on Misty May and Kerry Walsh, or scoring 10 points against Kentucky.
Once again,
I know you
nothing to do with the fact I'm not a misogynist. It's just that we could score points in volleyball without having to do anything by them serving into the net or out of bounds.
But wouldn't they just take the most conservative approach and just be like, letting them make the mistake. Just get the ball over the net.
But that's like saying just throw strikes.
They're pros.
Yeah, pros can't do it. Like, you see people like
But if you ask a pro to throw strikes, a professional pitcher who normally throws 95, and be like, you can do any speed, you could throw 80 miles per hour. You don't think they could do it consistently?
I'm saying that there's a chance that they throw 4 balls and you get on base and you don't have to do anything. They just lose it. I mean, Zanni's a coach. I mean, as any.
He's coaching high school kids.
My pitchers are 15, so
no. But do you think there's like major league pitchers out there where if you said, "Hey, this guy's gonna step in the box," basically all you have to do is throw strikes because he won't put the ball in play. And like the thing is, Al, you're a softball pitcher. Once you throw that first one outside the zone, it gets in your head. And same thing, like I could just like it's so much easier in sports where you could do nothing and still get a positive result through literally no action. Where you could just stand there and the ball could get served into the net and you would get that point. For us to score points at Kentucky, we'd physically have to be able to maneuver the ball past half court, which I don't think we would do.
Oh, we got this. I'm gonna set this up with Kentucky. We got this.
It'd be great.
On the Calipari. You guys were just embarrassed in the tournament. We got a job for you.
You know what we should do? I got a great idea. Let's put this into action. And let's do it against let's set the bar a little higher. Let's see if we can't get the varsity basketball team from the league we rep it. And see if like their hometown won't put the starting varsity team that lost to the eventual Long Island champions, I think. Or no, the runner-ups in the States.
Was it
to have we'll do it after the school year ends. Get the gym. We'll go up and we'll play. And we'll see if we can't put up against a very good varsity high school team in 2 20-minute running halves. I'll set the over-under at 14.
We got to there.
I don't know.
We got
Amazing show, boys. I just want to end on a little bit of a somber note because we had some bad news come out of the NYPD, and I know Zanni is a NYPD officer himself. But sad news: there was a shooting in Queens. The officer's name was Jonathan E. Diller. 3 years on the job. He was shot and killed. Husband and a father to a newborn child. So prayers up to him. Prayers up to the NYPD. Stay safe out there, boys. Very, very heartbreaking news.
Lots of prayers.
Rest in peace.
Great show, boys. Great show. Love you all, and we'll do it again next week.
Good fight. Good night.